I've done really well for myself in my career, and I'm ambitious, and it seems to be something that is like desired because it's like, I don't know, a prize to be won. But then once I actually open up and like in the dating world and like let someone in, then they get bored, or they don't see the value. And I was passed up on an opportunity this week as well. And then also the guy I was dating, it just, I guess, didn't work.
I still believe that if men stopped simping for a year, the relationship market would reset immediately. As long as any men continue feeding the delusion, nothing changes. Average women crying over the top 5% of men not settling down with them is so crazy to me.
What would our world look like without sons, brothers, fathers, husbands, and uncles? It has taken raising sons for me to realize how toxic society can be towards men. Oh, the good ones are taken. The future is female, or men need to behave, are constantly tossed around, cloaked in feminism or equality. But why is this okay? Simply being female doesn't make you better than a man. Men do not deserve to bear the brunt of another man's actions any more than a female. Men do not deserve to be judged by their gender, just like women. The future is female doesn't even make any sense. I'm blessed to have had quite a few good ones in my life, role models I know my sons will learn from, but that's not to say I haven't known a few bad apples. I just don't allow those experiences to define half of the human race. If you think along the lines of men need to behave, the future is female, or the good ones are taken, maybe ask yourself why you deserve one of the good ones when you make no room for positive masculinity.
Really have a right to be treated respectfully.
We are unfortunately running out of time, but Peter, I just want to get one final thought from you. Are there words that are used to describe men that offend you?
Not particularly, and if there are some I don't like, I certainly wouldn't want them banned, but it always goes back to that old adage, sticks and stones may break my bones, but there will always be something to offend a feminist.
Peter Lloyd.
No, that's just obnoxious.
Peter Lloyd,
you have to give me a
wait, I think we'll let you carry on.
That is ridiculous. No, hang on, I won't do your show again.
That last guy's smirk, like he killed a dragon with a slingshot. It didn't destroy men nearly as much as it just completely and utterly ruined women.
If someone puts me, like drafts me in the military, I'm so sorry, I'm running the other way.
Do you think that men have a duty to defend you while you sleep? Do you think that men would be cowards if they did not go to the draft?
I don't necessarily think they'd be cowards.
Well, then who would protect you?
Couldn't tell you.
Do you think that men have a responsibility to show up for the draft if they're drafted? To defend the nation and make sure that you're protected?
Yes.
Well, then how come you don't?
If men who aren't drafted in the military don't protect us, I don't know who's going to protect us.
Right. So if they have that responsibility and they're cowards if they don't go to the draft, right? Somebody has to go. You would prefer that it's them over you, right?
Yes.
That doesn't sound very equal. You're talking about feminism being part of this equality and anti-patriarchy. It would appear that the patriarchy is necessary because you want them to go and fight wars on your behalf so that you can sleep at night without having any troubles, right? And you don't want to go fight those wars.
So nothing bad happened? You didn't wreck it? You didn't hit anybody? You didn't run anybody over? You didn't get a speeding ticket? Wait, Jeffy, why are you making that face? Jeffy, did you get a speeding ticket?
If anyone cares, I now identify as bacon. 73% fat and salty as buck.
This is Put a Finger Down, Places You've Had Sex edition. In a car. In a hotel. In a shower. Someone else's house. A movie theater. A cemetery. School. Work. A park. A river, pool, or beach. Woods. Or in your own house.
Whoa, 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 whoa. No. No, we're not doing that. No. I don't know why you're into this, but we're stopping it right now.
I'm sorry. Not everybody fits in the bad bitch genre. It's a genre. Not everybody fits on the rasta.
can someone tell me why it still hurts even when like you're getting back into dating and you feel more mature and you end things with someone after like a couple of dates? And like I've been on like 3 dates recently, like 3 dates with 3 different guys, but I've gone on like second dates with all of them, second or third dates, and I ended it with one guy, the other guy ended it with me, but I was gonna end it with him anyway, so that was mutual. And this other guy, you just can tell he doesn't feel it. And like I thought that because I'm more mature and because it's mutual, or because I'm making the decision, that it would be less hard and I would be less sad because it's early on and stuff. But I think when it's just stacked on top of each other, like it adds up. Like, why am I crying? Like, does anybody else feel this way? Even just like when you feel like you're mostly healed and you're going back into dating, like why does it still fucking hurt? I hate it out here.
Women burned men one too many times. Now they don't want to get ripped off anymore.
Viral attention for sharing her regrets about ditching the idea of marriage and family. Now, her article in Business Insider reads, quote, "I'm 38 and single, and I recently realized I want a child. I'm terrified that I've missed my opportunity." That woman's name is Melissa Persling, and she's revealing to Fox News Digital what she thinks caused her current situation. Listen.
I feel unbelievably betrayed by feminism. I was constantly fed this idea that women can do everything. We don't really need men. Women can have the great career and have the kids that they like and change the tires and do this. I mean, I grew up thinking, and men are great, but like I can do all the same things. I do feel in many ways betrayed by that line of thinking. I kind of want to go back to some of those teachers and coaches and say, what the hell did you mean by that? Because women can't do it all. We can't.
Katrina, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, I'm going to go deep here. So I have a lot of opinion on this, and I really think that feminism in some ways has really sabotaged women's happiness. And the reason I believe that is because we are asked to do all these different things, right? But then our nervous system goes whack. Like I know for myself, I'm in work mode and then mother mode and then family mode, right? And so your system just completely goes out of whack, which is why I truly believe, and I found this quote and I thought it was so telling, is that the divine feminine is the rawest, wildest, and most honest mirror a man will ever encounter. The awakened man opens his heart and goes to battle. He will tame his dragons and face his deepest shadows, since he knows that deep within, her heart will guide him home.
She knew exactly what she was doing when she embraced that ideology years ago. She's no victim. She willfully chose to ignore other voices telling her to reject feminism. And as a man, I thank feminism for ironically freeing men from marriage, child support, and ever having to put my own life on the line to help women.
Feeling about dating right now in more detail. Let's say I pull out a jar and I go, guess what? There are 10 M&Ms in this jar, and you go, Laura, that's amazing. I love M&Ms more than anything else in the world. And you're like, yep, get in here and pick out your M&M so you can be happy for the rest of your life. And then so you stick your hand in there, and all of a sudden you're in horrible pain, and you go, hey, what the? And I go, oh my God, I forgot to mention, also in the jar, it's filled with maggots and needles and acid. But keep sticking your hand in there. It's worth it to find the M&M. So you keep sticking your hand in there, but the maggots bite you or whatever maggots do, and the needles stab you, and the acid burns you. So you tell me, hey, this isn't fun for me at all. So I say, well, I think you're just really bad at picking out M&Ms, and it kind of seems like you like getting bitten and stabbed and burned. But you need to get back in there because there are millions of other hands looking for those M&Ms. Here's some advice from people who found M&Ms before, years ago, even though it sounds like they're not M&Ms at all. And so you keep trying, but you realize that every single time you stick your hand in here, you're just getting hurt. And every time you pull your hand out, it's getting more and more disfigured, and you're starting not to recognize yourself. And there was this one time you thought you found an M&M, but it was a maggot pretending to be an M&M for some time. And you go, hey,
It's amazing how many women can talk for half an hour about what they want in a man without ever mentioning anything about love.
Okay, real quick for the ladies. I'm going to describe a regular man for you, and I want you to tell me if you would marry this man.
Okay.
5'8", about 35 to 50K per year. Would you marry that?
Hell no. Hell no. He's below the poverty line. What are you talking about?
The poverty line is actually far less
regular.
than that.
Yes.
But,
What's the
the
inflation?
average man in the United States today is about 5'8" and makes somewhere between $35,000 to $50,000 per year.
5'8" is fine, but I don't know about the 35.
Real quick, raise your hands. How many of you guys would marry that man? Raise your hands if you would marry him. Yes or no?
I don't even know any men in that
Okay, hold on. So no one at the table would marry this man, right? No. Okay. Congratulations. You and 1,000 other girls plus we've interviewed said the same exact thing. So it goes back to what I said. You said, most girls are gonna get a regular man. No, most girls don't even view regular men as a part, as members of society or an option. Most girls want extraordinary men.
It's insane how none of these women realize that a 5'8" man making 35, 50K a year is actually dropping their standards to be with one of those monsters.
It's really interesting to note that, especially within the States, but just in general, the research actually has depicted that women in their 40s is the most unhappiest age group out there. Think about that. The unhappiest age group in all of the world, predominantly, we're talking about the States right now, is women in their 40s. That's 1 in 4 Americans, which is crazy. That's 25% of the population are women in their 40s. And they're the unhappiest group out there. And it's just absolutely scary and it's appalling. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? And at the end of the day, the number one reason why, well, there could be many reasons why, actually. But one of them, as I mentioned beforehand, is it's really all about e-commerce. It's about the pharmaceutical industries. It's about really just making money. It's a multi-million-dollar business for the most part.
A lot of those women can't seem to understand that happiness is an inside job. No one is coming to fix, save, or rescue them.
So they all went on a hike. I'm swaddled up in my hammock, and then I heard the men returning without the ladies, and I thought, that's suspicious. That is weird. And it turns out they just got tuckered out early on the hike, and they decided to come back early. So the men made a campfire. They start making their little dinners. I was pretending to be asleep because I didn't want to talk to them, and also I was curious to hear what they were going to talk about with all the women out of the camp. And I shit you not, these men talked about pooping for 45 minutes. They started a conversation about pooping outside because we were camping. And they were all sharing their different techniques. Some liked to squat. Some liked to find a friendly log. Some of them liked to dig a little hole. And from there, it moved on to the biggest poops they'd ever taken in their life, the most painful poops they'd ever taken. Then they started talking about the kind of poops they got when they drank too much. Then they started talking about the smelliest poops they'd ever taken in the most public places. And every single man had their own individual story for each one of these scenarios. They were like going around the campfire sharing each of their stories.
I'm pretty sure that every single man has had this conversation with his group of guy friends. But of course, guys are not going to have this conversation in front of women. So for women that come in after that conversation and they ask the men, oh, what have you guys been doing? What have you been talking about? The men will always say, oh, nothing. But here's the truth, ladies. The guys are not talking about other women. They are just talking about stuff like this.
She eavesdropped, found no evidence of suspicious behaviors, still complained. Most women wildly overestimate how much time us men spend talking about them when they're not around.
You say people should date on their level. You're literally in a relationship with a guy who dwarfs your status. You are predatory for pursuing a man more successful than you, more money, more clout, more followers. You said he's got millions of followers across social media. You fucking clout chased him, you predatory clout chaser.
He slid in my DMs.
Okay, if an 18-year-old slides into my DMs, I'm 35, no problem.
It's less creepy than a 30-year-old that's going out of their way to try and slide into 18-year-olds' DMs.
Bro, but there's such a power dynamic in your relationship. So why did you, despite your views of like asymmetry in relationships being predatory or creepy or icky, why did you then choose to be in a relationship with him?
I have a lot of money too.
More than a rapper with 1.2 million followers or whatever?
I won an extremely huge lawsuit.
He's got more status than you.
And it was a red flag. I didn't trust him from the get-go. Him being a rapper? Yeah, kind of was a red flag when we first met.
And here you are in a relationship with him.
Yes, because we connected.
She has money from a lawsuit. He has money from talent. Not the same level. Thanks for watching Sigma Traits. As always, we're looking forward to your support. So please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything.